Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I begin in the name of Allah, the All Beneficent, the All Merciful. Nuqush Ismat, Imam Muhammad Taqi Jawad, peace be upon him, Part 2. Miraculous Acts. Muhammad ibn Ali Hashimi says that I came to the Imam on the day following his marriage to Ummul Fadl. I was feeling extremely thirsty due to some medication I was on, but I did not want to drink water at his place. But without my asking, he called for water and tasted it and then gave it to me, after which I realized that the Imams of Shia are indeed aware of the secrets of the others. Reference Usul Kafi, Irshad Mufid, page 481. This incident clearly shows that not drinking water at the place of the devotees of Al Muhammad was an old custom. On the contrary, its propaganda was there since time of Mamun. And since Al Muhammad could be exempted from this, how their followers escaped this? Muhammad ibn Rayyan says in order to test Imam Jawad, peace be upon him, Mamun sent 200 pretty girls and told them to entice the Imam. But due to the loftiness of his character, he paid no attention to them. So Mamun recalled them to the court and made them dance. Imam told the singer, O Shaykh, fear Allah, such a long beard and this behavior? As a result of this, he dropped the musical instrument from his hand and his hand was permanently paralyzed. Reference Usul Kafi. A person came and said, Ummul Hasan has requested for an old dress of his that she may keep it in her shroud as a blessing. Imam said, there is no need of it now. When he returned, he found that the lady had already passed away 15 days earlier. A man sought Imam's advice about a journey and he restrained him. He stopped, but his companion Hammad ibn Isa said, I have made all preparations, hence I cannot postpone the journey. Thus he set out and on the way camped in a valley where a flood washed him away along with his belongings. Reference Shawahidun Nubuwa, page 204. Muammar ibn Khallad says, Imam took me to a valley, asked me to wait, and went away somewhere. When he returned after some time, he looked very sad. When I asked him, he said, I am coming from Tus. My respected father has passed away, and I had gone to pray his funeral prayers. Qasim ibn Abdul Rahman says, I belong to Zaydiyya faith. I had heard about the fame of Imam. One day I saw him pass by and remarked, How stupid are those who believe this child to be an Imam. I was thinking this when a voice came, Qasim ibn Abdul Rahman, one who leaves our obedience would become eligible for hell. I was amazed that perhaps he was a magician or something. Another voice came, You are wrong, you must correct your beliefs. This made Qasim very uncomfortable and he immediately came to the Imam and accepted his Imamat. Reference Kashful Ghumma, Ihsanul Maqal, Volume 2, page 202. Confessions. He was young in age but was old from the aspect of rank and he commanded a respectable position among the people. Reference Ibn Talha Shafi'i, Matalibus Su'ul, page 195. He had a very lofty position. Reference Mullah Hussain Wais Kashafi, Rawzatul Shuhada, page 438. No one could reach to the rank of Imam Muhammad Taqi Jawad in excellence. Reference Allama Khawan Shah, Rawzatul Safa, volume 3, page 16. He possessed innumerable merits although he was young in age. Reference Allama Shablanji, Nurul Absar, page 145. He replied to 30,000 questions in one sitting and gave most replies even before the question was asked. Reference Ali ibn Ibrahim Kufi. Wise sayings. Reliance on Almighty Allah is the cost of every costly thing and a means of every loftiness. Reference Ihsanul Maqal, volume 2, page 212. The matter of the fact is that there is no greater wealth than reliance on God and contentment of human soul. Every wealth is going to be destroyed, but this wealth is never going to be destroyed. And it is the result of absence of reliance on God in the present age that rulers as well as subjects are all seen to be confused. The respect of a believer lies in needlessness from people. Reference Ihsan al-Maqal, volume 2, page 212. If a man bears hunger, his honor remains intact. But if he asks the help of others, his respect is destroyed, although he may get to eat expensive foods. Do not become apparent friend and inward enemy of Almighty Allah. Reference Ihsan al-Maqal, volume 2, page 212. In the present age, majority of Muslims are as such only, that although they have apparently become friends of God, they are his enemies from the aspect of their character and deeds, and they commit all the evils that enemies of Islam are committing. In such circumstances, what is the use of the claim of love? One who obtained a friend in the way of Allah, it is as if he has obtained a house in paradise. Reference Ihsan al Maqal, Volume 2, page 212. It is not difficult to make friends for worldly matter and for vain pastimes, but it is very difficult to make a friend tread the path of God and to serve the religion of God. The best way to gain paradise is to increase brothers in faith and include people in that brotherhood. How can be destroyed one for whom the Almighty Allah is responsible, and how can he escape one who is wanted by Allah? One who would take up someone other than that Allah would leave him to that only, and one who acts without knowledge, his corruption would be greater than his reform. Reference Ihsan al Maqal, Volume 2, page 213. All four statements of this tradition are worth contemplation. If a man reposes his trust in God, there can be no question of his destruction, as Almighty Allah is responsible for him. And if one becomes certain that he cannot escape God, his character would automatically improve. The greatest peril in leaving God and going to someone else is that if God abandons a man, no one can do any good to him, and there are more chances of corruption in acting without knowledge. And if man is ignorant of Islamic laws, he may teach others wrongly, and instead of prohibitions, he may even prevent them from obligatory acts. Avoid the company of a wrong person, as he is like a naked sword, which is very shining to the view, but has very bad consequences. Reference Ihsan al Maqal, Volume 2, page 213. Before taking anyone as a friend or companion, it is necessary to study his character. Otherwise, if one adopts the friendship of a sinner, he would apparently improve his social status, but his evil may cause harm at any time. If the dishonest are made trustees, it is sufficient for their dishonesty. Reference Ihsan al Maqal, Volume 2, page 213. It is necessary to recognize the proper occasion to adopt good character. Otherwise, what would be the result of making dishonest person as a trustee? Every believer needs three things: tawfiq of God, exhortation from the self, and acceptance of advice of others. Reference Ihsan al Maqal, Volume 2, page 213. One who does not have tawfiq of God and his conscience cannot give him advice, and he considers accepting advice of others as insult, cannot be called faithful in any way. Sincerity of intention for God is better than bearing physical discomfort in actions. Reference Ihsan al Maqal, Volume 2, page 213. It does not imply that man should leave all deeds and become engrossed in contemplation, as it is in fact not an imagination of Almighty Allah. It is the intention of the accursed shaitan and his only way. The most accurate interpretation of traditional report is that man should not rely solely on apparent deeds. On the contrary, he should make effort to become most attentive, and the spirit of all acts is this attention. Without that, there is no need to tire the body and limbs. One who followed the desires fulfilled the desire of the enemy. Reference Ihsan al Maqal, Volume 2, page 214. The worst enemy of man is the accursed shaitan, and his best message is to follow lust, as he has no better aim to deviate. Thus, whoever instead of following the Sharia adopted the way of lust, it is as if he has fulfilled the desire of shaitan and has gone on his way. Oppression is the last period of the power of rulers. Reference Ihsan al Maqal, Volume 2, page 215. The fact of the matter is that any ruler can endure with disbelief and apostasy, but it cannot endure with oppression and injustice. And when oppression enters a rule and the ruler begins to persecute people, a sentiment of rebellion is created among them, and from this the roots of the rule begin to become hollow, and one day he has to face public revenge, after which there is no way but end of his rule. Rely on patience, embrace poverty, leave the lusts, oppose selfish desires, and remember that you cannot go out of the view of God. Now you may decide how you want to behave before Him. Reference Muntahiyul Amal. The last phrase of the above saying is sufficient to create a revolution in the heart of man. If man really realizes that he is always before the view of the Lord of the worlds, and not only considers him as witness of his deeds, all his deeds and character can be reformed. If a person is present in some matter and he dislikes it, it is as if he was not present, and if he was absent due to some reason and he liked it, it is as if he was present in it. Both parts of this statement are interesting. That those who are compelled to be present in centers or gatherings of vice and they continue to express their distaste, they are not guilty of presence. But those who, in spite of being absent, aspire to sin, they are participants of that evil deed, even though they might not be partners in that act. Defense is proportionate to fear. If a person does not refrain from sins, it means that there is no fear of God in his heart. A man becomes as much protective as is the intensity of fear. To continue to sin while claiming that one is fearful of God is another sin, as he is resorting to falsehood as well. One who follows lust cannot be safe from sins. Reference Muntahiyul Amal. There is only way to avoid sins, and that is to control one's selfish desires. When death is near, the atmosphere becomes tight. Reference Muntahiyul Amal. One should realize that he can never escape death. Even one who roams the world is not safe from death. So one should remember death all the time and be prepared for the stages after death. There is nothing wrong in displeasure of one who is pleased with oppression. Reference Muntahiyul Amal. Before considering the pleasure of creatures, one should see what makes him pleased and what enrages him. And if one is only pleased with oppression, one should never pay any attention to his displeasure. On the contrary, one should be happy that his behavior is just, and that is why the oppressor is displeased with him. Alas, if only the Muslim rulers had realized this, and instead of pleasing the superpowers, they should be please Almighty Allah. Inscription on the finger ring. How powerful Allah is. Reference Fusulul Muhimma, Biharul Anwar, Volume 9, Chapter 1. Companions and students. First, Abu Ja'far Ahmad ibn Muhammad ibn Abi Nasr Bazanti Kufi. He was a companion of Imam Ali Reza, peace be upon him, and was considered among special students of Imam Muhammad Taqi. Such was the level of his veracity that chain of narrators was not investigated of the tradition related from him, and it was taken to be authentic, as he has not narrated any tradition from any unreliable reporter. He died in 221st year after Hijrah. Reference Ihsanul Maqal, Volume 2, page 229. Second, Abu Muhammad Fadl ibn Shazan ibn Khalil Azdi Nishapuri. He is the author of 180 books and was an extremely reliable person. Imam Hasan Askari, peace be upon him, had invoked mercy for him once or twice. He lived for years with people like Muhammad ibn Abi Umair and Safwan ibn Yahya, and he was a point of reference for traditions after them. Reference Ihsan al-Maqal, Volume 2, page 230. Third, Abu Tammam Habib ibn Ta'i. He was the best poet of his age. In one panegyric, he has mentioned all the Imams till Imam Jawad, as he died during the lifetime of Imam Jawad only. Jahiz has included him among the leaders of Shia, which is the best evidence that he was a Shia. Such was his memory that in addition to panegyrics, he knew 14,000 poems by heart. His Hamas is a masterpiece of literature, although some bigoted people used to refrain from reading and writing his couplets. Abu Tammam passed away in Mosul in 231st year after Hijrah, and his tomb is situated there. Reference Ihsan al-Maqal, Volume 2, page 232. Fourth, Abul Hasan Ali ibn Mehziyar Ahwazi. In a letter, Imam Muhammad Taqi Jawad had written to him that I have tested you fully from the aspect of accepting good advice, obedience, service, and according respect, and found you one who fulfills all duties perfectly. If I say that I have not seen anyone like you, I might not be untrue in my claim. Although his father was a Christian, he gained such expertise in jurisprudence that he became a special confidant of the Imam, and also represented him in some areas. On the contrary, he continued to be the representative of Imam Ali Naqi as well. His brother Ibrahim and son Muhammad ibn Ali are included among reliable companions of Imam Ali Naqi, peace be upon him. Reference Ihsan al-Maqal, Volume 2, page 233. Fifth, Siqatul Islam Muhammad ibn Abi Umair Baghdadi. Both friends and enemies have accepted his trustworthiness and majesty, and some have considered him to be superior to Yunus ibn Abdur Rahman. While it is famous that there is no jurist better than Salman Farsi and Yunus ibn Abdur Rahman. Under orders of Mamun al-Rashid, He was lashed 120 times by Sanadi Shahik for the crime of being a Shia, and then he was cast into prison from which he was able to purchase his freedom with 1,21,000 dirhams, as Ibn Umair was a wealthy man, or he would have remained in prison all his life. After paying such huge amount in tax to the regime, he became absolutely poor and the regime seized all his property. By chance, a man had taken borrowed 10,000 dirhams from him. When he learnt about his circumstances, he sold his house and brought the amount to him. Ibn Abi Umair asked about the source of that money and was told that he had sold his house. He said, "Take it back. My master Imam Ja'far Sadiq has said that a man cannot be compelled to sell his house to repay a loan. Although right now I am in need of every penny, but I cannot go against law of Sharia." Reference Ihsanul Maqal, Volume 2, page 234. Sixth, Muhammad ibn Sinan Abu Ja'far Zahiri. Imam Muhammad Taqi Jawad has spoken highly of him and stated that Almighty Allah is pleased with him because the Imam was pleased with him. He has neither opposed me nor my father. This last statement shows that there were rumors about his opposition to the Imams and it was necessary for the Imam to exonerate him. It is mentioned in his biography that he lost his eyesight and Imam Muhammad Taqi Jawad passed his hand over his eyes and restored his vision. Therefore, apart from being a center of the trust of the Imam, he was also a cause of miracle of the Imam, and only this much is sufficient for his greatness and trustworthiness. Reference Ihsanul Maqal, Volume 2, page 236. Seventh, Ayyub ibn Nuh ibn Darraj Kufi. He was a reliable scholar and author of books. He was also the representative of Imam Ali Reza and Imam Muhammad Taqi Jawad. He was an extremely precocious and pious man. 8th, Ja'far ibn Muhammad ibn Yunus Ahwal. He was a companion of Imam Ali Raza and Imam Muhammad Taqi Jawad and was a trustworthy person. 9th, Hussein ibn Sayyid Ahwazi. He was a companion of Imam Ali Raza, Imam Muhammad Taqi Jawad and Imam Ali al-Hadi, an author of around 30 books. Reference Ihsan al-Maqal, Volume 2, page 280. 10th, Ali ibn Asbat ibn Salim. He was a companion of Imam Ali Raza and Imam Muhammad Taqi Jawad and a reliable man and author of tafsir. His veracity was famed and he was like a teacher to his companions.